William Schnell, 30 Years of Watchtower Slave, Chapter 16, Action in New Jersey. His first subhead is Truly a Slave. I continued to serve the Watchtower Society with my hands and with my mind and heart. I was a slave in the truest sense of the word. I did not want to do what I was doing, knowing clearly how wicked and wrong it was. I realized that I was helping to raise a Frankenstein. Of course, he means the monster here, which would surely turn upon me and destroy me. Yet circumstances and surroundings forced me to continue in it. I now know that I was held enslaved because I failed to study God's Word by itself without the distorting Watchtower helps. When in 1943 I finally began to awaken to that fact, I gradually grew in strength and in spirit to become fully free by 1954, 30 years after I had entered into slavery on August 18, 1924, into Watchtower Bethel of Magdeburg, Germany. But back there, while training others for their slave labor and leading them into captivity, I was held in captivity by the very means I used on others. The Watchtower Society published books, booklets, and magazines, which alone I read. Yet, through God's grace, enough scriptural truth entered into my heart and my mind to keep a modicum of individual life active and to preserve my soul from destruction by the vicious brainwashing. But I paid dearly in every way for this independence, especially in mental torture and torment. I knew better many times. After having done these things in obedience to organization instructions, deep remorse would enter my soul and sadness would fill my mind. I confess that I actually groaned, but that is all I did about it. When the next instruction came along, my feet followed a well-directed path, even into jail, if it had to be, without hesitation, a regular zombie. On the boardwalk, he says, is the next heading. Thus it was when I received an assignment to go to Atlantic City, New Jersey, in the summer of 1938. I went willingly. I was sent with the express purpose of creating an issue. The society wanted the witnesses to use the famous boardwalk as a grandstand during the summer, during which season millions of people would frequent it. It appeared that Mayor White had permitted the Salvation Army to use the boardwalk for their band and to make collections. That gave us a wonderful opportunity. Without asking for a permit, the witnesses began to preach there. They were warned to desist. When they continued, they were arrested. When they finally did apply, they were refused a permit on the ground that their work was different from that of the Salvation Army. The mayor explained that the Salvation Army was accepted everywhere as a charitable organization, and that not one of the guests of Atlantic City would therefore take offense at their appearing on the boardwalk. Politely, the mayor pointed out that the same could not be said about Jehovah's Witnesses. After all, they were just emerging from a 5-year campaign throughout New Jersey in which hundreds of them had been arrested and convicted. The mayor felt that the appearance of Jehovah's Witnesses would therefore create friction. Thus he turned them down. The society now moved in to make an issue of this, the very thing which the mayor wanted to avoid. It was arranged for the Pennsylvania and New Jersey divisions of Philadelphia and Trenton to use mass action. Plans were made for a day-long witness throughout Atlantic City, to be culminated by a meeting held in defiance of the mayor's edict at a specially designated place on the boardwalk. Pamphlets were printed announcing the time and place of this meeting and the reason why it was being held. I was selected to be the patsy, or fall guy, to give the talk. Upon receiving this assignment, I felt like I was really on the spot. I underwent all sorts of troublous thoughts, but I had been arrested many times before in the Watchtower cause, about 16 times to be exact, both in Germany and in the United States. I had faced mobs before, too, and had been stoned twice, and one time practically brained with a heavy oak chair. So while I did not like the prospect, I felt that this was the price I had to pay. To jail next time. I'll put in a link to a video Vivian did on William Booth and the birth of the Salvation Army, which had only taken place during the heyday of Charles Taze Russell back in the 1880s, 90s, and early 1900s. See you next time.